Welcome back, grade 11. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you here for today's lesson in effective communication. Under our strengthened senior high school curriculum, today's explainer is, well, it's a pretty special journey. We're going to be building what we call the architecture of the self, literally from the inside out. We'll be navigating the complexities of your internal dialogue, harnessing the very real power of journaling, and ultimately setting some strong boundaries for your digital presence. But hey, before we start building anything, I've got a question for you. Can you ever, truly, stop talking to yourself? Seriously, take a second. Just listen. Even right now, as you're waiting for me to say the next word, there's a voice in your head evaluating, predicting, maybe even wondering what you're going to have for lunch later. That inner voice is constantly running in the background. You just can't fully switch it off. So, how do we actually manage that voice? Well, here is our agenda for today. First, the machine of the mind. Second, shark versus dolphin thoughts. Third, inner communication. Fourth, the power of journaling. And finally, protecting your online presence. We're laying down some clear expectations here as we move from your internal mental foundation straight to your external digital facade. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the machine of the mind. Every single piece of architecture needs a solid foundation, and for us, that foundation is the invisible engine running our thoughts every single second of the day. In our curriculum, we formally define this as intrapersonal communication. It's exactly what it sounds like. Communication that happens entirely within yourself. It's that continuous internal dialogue or self-talk where, and this is actually the most fascinating part, you are simultaneously both the sender and the receiver of the message. Whether you're actively speaking out loud to yourself, sitting in total silence, or just staring blankly out a window, this communication is happening. It's automatic and it's absolutely inevitable. Notice how this mental machine has a permanent on switch. Unlike interpersonal communication, talking to other people, which you can just walk away from, intrapersonal communication is a closed loop. It is always glowing, always active. This constant hum of processing and evaluating, that forms the absolute baseline for how you treat yourself. And remember, the way you speak to yourself dictates how you interpret the whole world around you, which inevitably shapes exactly how you treat others. Moving on to section 2, shark versus dolphin thoughts. Because, let's be real, our mental machine isn't just humming along neutrally all the time. There's often a bit of a conflict happening in there, and we can categorize this internal self-talk into 2 very distinct types of thoughts. To really get this conflict, we've got to look at the feedback loop of inner dialogue. It breaks down into 4 steps. First up, the experience. Let's say you receive a lower mark on a test than you were expecting. Second is the self-talk. Your internal interpretation kicks right in. Are you a failure, or is this just a minor setback? Third, we have the emotional reaction. The story you just told yourself shapes your feelings. It can either regulate your mood or completely destabilize you. And finally, step 4, the action. Your emotional confidence dictates your next move. Do you just give up, or do you go ask your teacher for some constructive feedback? This loop totally demystifies why a bad grade can suddenly make you want to just throw in the towel. It's not actually the grade, it's that self-talk loop. And this brings us to exactly where we can intervene, the cognitive reframing engine. So a trigger happens. Say you made a mistake in front of the class. Your mind will instantly split toward one of 2 types of thoughts, shark thoughts or dolphin thoughts. Now, listen closely, grade 11, because this is absolutely crucial. Our goal is not to completely eliminate negative shark thoughts. Actually, scratch that. It's just plain unrealistic to think we can never have a negative thought again. The real goal is to notice them, question their fairness, and then consciously reframe them into dolphin thoughts. Let's compare these 2 directly. Shark thoughts are unhelpful, they're negative, and they're deeply pessimistic. When you tell yourself, I always mess things up, or nobody wants to hear what I have to say, the outcome is terrible. It completely paralyzes your decision-making and wrecks your productivity. Versus dolphin thoughts. These are helpful, positive, and optimistic. You consciously reframe the situation and say, okay, I made a mistake, but I can learn from it. I'm going to ask for help so I can improve. The outcome here? It regulates your emotions and builds up some serious academic resilience. All right, on to section 3, forms of inner communication. Now that we've tuned the engine of our self-talk, let's explore the broader scaffolding we use to construct our whole identity. So there are 6 common forms of interpersonal communication you really need to know. We just covered self-talk. Then there's reflection, which is basically thinking back on an experience to extract some kind of meaning from it. Journaling takes that dialogue and puts it into written form. Goal setting is mentally planning your future actions. Visualization is mentally rehearsing an event before it even happens, kind of like picturing yourself giving an awesome presentation in class. And finally, your online presence. This is choosing how you represent yourself digitally. All of these forms bridge the gap between our abstract, invisible, internal thoughts and our physical, external reality. Crucially, these forms exist on a spectrum. Over on the far left, we have the purely mental exercises, like visualization and goal setting. As we move to the right, we hit reflection, which bridges the mental and the physical. Then we move into journaling, taking those thoughts and making them totally physical on a page. And finally, all the way on the right, we hit the highly public, digital realm of your online presence. You're taking your private, intrapersonal communication and actively projecting it outward into the world. Which leads us perfectly into section 4, the power of journaling. Let's focus in on that critical physical stage of our architecture. In our curriculum, journaling isn't just, writing stuff down. It's a really profound tool for personal growth, mental clarity, and tracking your life's progress. Journaling gives you what we call tangible thoughts. It provides accessibility, literally turning your internal dialogue into something you can see, revisit, and actually learn from. It helps with processing, too, preventing you from suppressing complex emotions by giving them a physical shape on the page. Plus, it provides incredible clarity by clearing out all that mental clutter. And honestly, perhaps most importantly, your journal is a sanctuary. It creates this totally private, judgment-free space for radical honesty with yourself. But you might be wondering, what kind of journal should you actually keep? Well, that depends entirely on what you're trying to build or process. The Journal Diagnostic Map is this great, actionable tool to match your current emotional state to the exact type of journal you need at this moment in your life. Whether you need to process the past, track your daily habits, or record specific experiences, there is a specialized journaling technique tailored just for you. For instance, a reflective journal helps analyze challenging events. A gratitude journal shifts your focus right back to positivity when you're feeling stressed out. A dream journal lets you explore your subconscious patterns. Health and wellness monitors your stress and balance. Food journals connect your eating habits to your mood. Travel journals document your observations on journeys. And art journals let you process complex emotions visually. So, grade 11, I want to challenge you right now. Pick just one of these journals today. Whatever pressure or stress you're facing this semester, choose a journal type and use it as a real tool to process that pressure. And that brings us to Section 5, Protecting Your Online Presence. We are finally at the exterior facade of our architecture. This is exactly how we present our intrapersonal reflections to the entire world through the internet. Look, building a social media profile isn't just about sharing memes with your friends. It's fundamentally an act of intrapersonal communication. Before you ever decide what to share publicly, you have to reflect on your values, your image, and your boundaries. Protecting your privacy online is an absolutely essential skill that goes hand in hand with self-expression. You literally need to equip your digital armor to ensure your data privacy. As your teacher, I am giving you these 5 concrete directives to protect yourselves online. You need to make sure these settings are toggled on in your digital life. Number 1, location obfuscation. Limit sharing your home address, your real-time location, or your daily school schedule. Just don't do it. Number 2, audience control. Always think before you post and use privacy settings to strictly dictate who gets to see your photos and info. 3, platform audits. Only upload your personal files and journal entries to safe, highly reputable platforms. 4, access reviews. You should regularly review who has access to your accounts and remove any unknown or untrusted followers. And 5, identity masking. If you want to post highly sensitive personal reflections, use a pseudonym or generic username instead of your full real name. It is so important to keep your personal data safe from misuse. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final guided journaling prompt to really chew on. If your online profile is a reflection of your inner voice, what is it actually saying? Does your digital exterior honestly, accurately, and safely reflect the strong internal foundation you are building? Take some time today to reflect on that, practice your dolphin thoughts, and actually write it down. Keep building that architecture, students. I'll see you in the next lesson.